back. Save 40% your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
The Senate has held the first hearing investigating President Biden's mental fitness while in office.
This was a constitutional crisis.
Senator John Cornyn and his Republicans probe if the Biden administration covered up the president's decline. Many Democrats were no-shows at the hearing, upsetting GOP Senator Eric Schmidt.
They have chosen to ignore this issue like they ignored President Biden's decline. Their absence speaks volumes.
The use of the auto pen, and if President Biden knowingly made key decisions such as pardons, is being questioned by the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Peter Welch pushing back, as Democrats believe the move is political and isn't benefiting the American people.
What we're doing right now won't help.
House Republicans are also looking into President Biden's alleged cognitive decline and cover-up, and have issued subpoenas for several key Biden administration officials, as well as the former president's personal physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
There were big cheers outside a Massachusetts courtroom when Karen Reed was acquitted at a retrial on the death of her boyfriend, a police officer.
The jury found her not guilty of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. She was found guilty of the lesser charge, operating a vehicle under the influence, and was sentenced to 1 year probation.
Fox's Brian Yennis outside the court in Massachusetts. A mostly cloudy start for Vice President Vance on Blue Sky, a social media platform.
Just minutes after his first post, the vice president was suspended from Blue Sky Wednesday. The vice president writing, "Hello, Blue Sky. I've been told this app was the best place to go for common sense political discussion." But Vance was suspended within 12 minutes of the post. The ban, however, was brief as the vice president's account was reinstated. Blue Sky claimed Vance's account was suspended over concerns that it was run by an impersonator.
That's Krista Mayo. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
News Talk 710 KURV, broadcasting from the Valley's all-American truck headquarters studio at PayneAutomall.com.
It's Thursday. Thanks for making us a part of your morning. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. It's the Valley's Morning News with Zach Cantu and show producer Fred Cruz. Right now, we've got temperatures around 80 across deep South Texas, and here's what happened in the Rio Grande Valley. Over at Boca Chica Beach, it was a rocket from SpaceX that exploded during a fire test at the company's South Texas Starbase. Ship 36 exploded last night at the Massey's Testing Center on Boca Chica Beach. It was video posted on social media showing a massive fireball erupting at the test site at 11:02 p.m. An investigation is reportedly underway to determine the cause of the explosion. The president of the Progreso School Board is reportedly facing charges for public intoxication and possession of a controlled substance. Multiple reports confirmed the arrest of Juan Ramos Jr., even though the arrest did not appear in Hidalgo County Jail records. The date of the arrest was also not recorded. The district's superintendent released a statement saying Ramos's arrest does not affect district operations, and there will be no further comment from that. Police in Mission have arrested 3 suspects as part of the investigation into vandalism at Lions Park. Police reportedly arrested 17-year-old Sebastian Marroquin and 2 13-year-olds on a charge of criminal mischief. The city released pictures of a damaged restroom at the park on social media earlier this week, and the bond for Marroquin was set at $5,000. Senator John Cornyn chaired a hearing in Washington questioning any potential cover-up of former President Joe Biden's health.
Senator Cornyn called it a conspiracy among the former president's family, staff, and the media, as well as many elected officials, to keep the reality of the situation under wraps. Cornyn says they did this out of fear of a second Trump term.
Make no mistake about it, this was a constitutional crisis, bigger than President Biden,
bigger than any single election.
Cornyn recently sent a letter to the Justice Department to launch an investigation. Democrats did not attend the meeting, nor did they call any witnesses.
Juneteenth officially became a state holiday in Texas in 1979, and 40 years later, it became a federal holiday. So how much do Texans know about it and how important it is? Here's TSN's Chris Fox.
Juneteenth officially commemorates the date in 1865 when Confederate forces surrendered in Texas, when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston announcing the end of the Civil War and the emancipation of the slaves.
There's a pretty strong consensus among Texans believing that it is important to recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. More than 3 out of 4 believe in that.
Mark Jones conducted the poll for Texas Southern University. Hopefully this story will help improve the future results of this next question.
2/3 of Texans have a good understanding of what Juneteenth is and what it's all about, but about 1/3 of them either know only a little bit or nothing at all.
In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
8 minutes after the hour, it is AccuWeather time. And AccuWeather this hour made possible by Martin Farm and Ranch. They have Purina feed, and it's the best. That's why Doug at Martin Farm and Ranch carries it. He is a certified dealer, and he's got great deals going on all the time. So stop by and say howdy to Doug at Martin Farm and Ranch. We're saying howdy to Jeff Nordine from AccuWeather, joining us on 710 KURV. The fun begins today. Huh, Jeffy?
It really does, depending on what your definition of fun is. Is it cool weather and storms, or just cool weather?
Both. Very eventful forecast.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, we're going to be looking at some showers and thunderstorms actually even on radar right now at the very far outreach of the Brownsville radar. It is moving very slowly to the north. We're going to see these showers and thunderstorms arrive, and when they do, they're not expected to pack a punch, but they are going to bring a good amount of rain. In fact, by end of day tomorrow, with them still around, we could get up to around 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch in McAllen alone. So a good amount of rain, and it is going to cool us off. So we're going to be looking at mid to upper 80s, low to mid 90s. And then after that, Saturday to start the weekend's good. We're going to have a little bit of cloud cover, some sunshine, 91 degrees. Sunday, a thunder shower possible.
You see, this is the kind of stuff that I like, Jeffy.
That's why you call me every day.
I wish you could hit that button more often where we have cloud cover and rain, and it's nice. You said these storms were moving slowly, so these things are just going to sit over us for a while?
Yeah, they're pretty slow right now. I mean, granted, the forward speed could change a little as the rain falls. That's generally how storms work. But yeah, it's going to end up being, like I said, around 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch in the bucket at McAllen. So a decent drink.
All right. For Texas travel today, what's happening?
Texas travel is actually dry all the way up in Dallas. Nothing there except for sunshine. Temperatures in the mid 60s. Give me a second. Felt that coming. Houston, we're going to be under a couple thunder showers today. Otherwise, some sunshine. Temps in the low to mid 90s. And San Antonio will see a thunder shower or two. Clouds and sunshine otherwise, and temps in the low 90s.
For tropical coverage 2025, made possible by McAfee Insurance, Lee's Pharmacy, and Mike's Plumbing, Electrical, and AC. How are we doing?
We're doing okay, I suppose. So Hurricane Eric did make a landfall along the west coast of Mexico. That happened this morning, and it will rapidly lose its wind intensity interacting with the terrain of southern Mexico, but it will continue to bring strong winds, heavy rain, and even storm surge through parts of southern Mexico through Friday. In terms of what we can expect from that or the Atlantic into the eastern side, so on the Gulf, there could be some impacts for today, and this lasts through July 3rd. But for Texas, maybe just some spotty showers and thunderstorms. Obviously, today is the most robust. And then after that, Sunday and Monday, there's a spotty thunder shower in the area.
All right. Current conditions for right now.
We are sitting at 81 in Brownsville. We got 80 in McAllen, 77 Harlingen, 79 Weslaco, and 77 in Edinburgh.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Jeff Nordine from AccuWeather joining us on 710 KURV. It's 12 minutes after the hour on the Valley's Morning News. The State Department says foreign citizens who apply for student visas will have their social media accounts screened for hostility towards the U.S. Department. Officials said Wednesday that new student visa applicants will be asked to make their social media accounts public for the review, and that officers at U.S. consulates will be looking for any indication of hostility towards the citizens, culture, government, institutions, or founding principles of the United States. These new screening guidelines come as U.S. visa appointments resume after being halted last month by the Trump administration. And a new poll suggests Americans aren't too excited about the possibility of the U.S. getting involved in the conflict between Israel and Iran. The Washington Post surveyed about 1,000 people this week and found only 25% support the military launching airstrikes against Iran over its nuclear program. 45% opposed U.S. involvement, while 30% said that they had no idea what was going on. It's 13 after the hour. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. This is the Valley's Morning News. And coming up next on the program, the Chancellor for Texas A&M, John Sharp. He's stepping down. Where is he headed? Find out next on News Talk 710 KURV.
Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at progressive.com.
Attention all cattle ranchers. Martin Farm and Ranch Supply, the Valley's premier Purina feed dealer, is here to tell you all about the labor-saving benefits of Purina AccuRation liquid feed. With 34% protein and 5% fat, it delivers. Let us show you the cost benefits of the most sustained supplement on the market and get a free bag of mineral with your purchase. Limited time only.
Martin Farm and Ranch Supply, your premier Purina feed dealer. Just ask the horse.
If you're looking to improve your overall health and have a better quality of life, Dr. T's Primary Care is the place to go. If you feel tired or stressed or less motivated, if you're moody or if you have trouble sleeping, Dr. T's Primary Care will evaluate you and work with you to address your health concerns, including testosterone or menopause treatment, peptide treatment, IV vitamin infusions. Their licensed staff will take the time to listen to you and work with you to improve your overall health. Check out the website, drtsprimarycare.com. Give them a call in the Cal at 956-803-0058 in Harlingen, 956-368-5247.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The voice of the next generation of conservatives.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weeknights at 8 on News Talk 710 KURV, KURV.com, and on the Radio Potomy app.
15 minutes after the hour, you're listening to News Talk 710 KURV, Valley's Morning News for Thursday. You're home for Houston Astros baseball. Once again, game number 4, Astros against the Athletics today, 9:05 first pitch. We got Astro lunch. Pregame about a half hour before that. You're home for Astros baseball, made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and Mission Economic Development Corporation.
And I welcome back to the station a friend of the RGV, John Sharp, System Chancellor for Texas A&M. The clock is ticking. You told me via text, it's the end of the month, right, John? At the end of the month, that's it, as far as being chancellor, right?
Yeah, June 30th is the last day.
June 30th. So what you going to do with all your time now that you get all your time? You're going to go fishing or hunting? What are you going to do?
No, I'm not one of those guys that puts Bermuda shorts on and puts black socks on and goes play golf. I'm starting a consulting company in Austin with a friend of mine, and so I can't. I want to die on the job. I don't want. I'm not very good at retirement.
Good. Yeah, there's no such thing as retirement from the work of ministry, and your ministry has been public service all these years. I was reminded how you were like everything in Austin, right? You were a state lawmaker for the House and then Senate, right? And then you did the Railroad Commission, comptroller as well, right? And of course, the System Chancellor for Texas A&M. How many years at Texas A&M, Chancellor?
This has been about 14, which is way more than I signed up for. When I took the job, I said, I want to do one thing. I want to get a law school. And I figured it would take 3 years to do it, either that or if it didn't happen in 3 years, give up. And we got to law school in about 6 months. And so it just sort of all snowballed from there. One of the early things actually was my desire to start a campus in the Rio Grande Valley, and that's where the McAllen campus came from.
Yeah. That's a great story related to that. If you want to tell working people headed to work right now, how our Texas A&M, McAllen, Texas zip code, how that came about.
Well, I mean, I would go to parades down there, and I mean, we always had, extension service. We always had AgriLife Research, the Westlaco, everything involved in agriculture, but we never had any academic things. We had agency things, but we didn't have things that were related to Texas A&M University. And I got a little tired I would go down there and I'd see, I'd go to the Charo parade, I'd go to all these parades, and I'd see the wrong colored hats on people. And so I said, there need to be some maroon hats on folks.
Yeah.
And as you know, I mean, I have to say that highest percentage of my friends in the state live in the Rio Grande Valley. I've always been, just a warm place in my heart there.
Yeah.
And it just seemed to me that we ought to have, a presence, an A&M presence there. And so we created that campus, got approval with the coordinating board. And that campus is very different from a regional university like the one we have in Laredo or the one we have in Kingsville or Corpus and other places, because that campus is directly tied to Texas A&M University. So all of the kids that go and get degrees from the McAllen campus get an A&M degree, get the same Aggie ring that you would get if you went to College Station.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that was created, we knew we'd start small, but that would fill a need for kids in the Rio Grande Valley that maybe needed to stay closer to home rather than go halfway across the world to college. There was a lady that came up to me one time, and she was it's actually a student, and she said that she came to Texas A&M, and she had lied to her mother and told her mother that she was going to school in Kingsville because her mother would have never allowed her to go all the way across the world to College Station, Texas. And so it wasn't, and she even told me, said, when they'd have homecoming, she would invite her mother up to Kingsville for homecomings and they'd go to the all this kind of stuff. And I told her, I said, you got to be kidding me. She said, no. And and the reason I found out about this is she called me and she said, I want to introduce you to my mother. And so she came to graduation and there's, 10,000 people.
Yeah.
In this auditorium, and and her mother is going, what are you talking about? Said, once you pass Kingsville, she said, we're not quite there yet. And her mother was just flabbergasted. Yeah. So I said, that ought not happen anymore. We ought to have the ability to do this in the Rio Grande Valley.
Thank God that we have the McAllen campus as well. Texas A&M System Chancellor John Sharp, who will be leaving as chancellor here at the end of the month. We'll be starting some consulting work. We got Glenn Hager, the comptroller of Texas. He'll be taking over after that. And thank you, your leadership and local leadership, making the McAllen Texas A&M campus directly linked to Texas A&M and College Station. Just top of mind, Chancellor, some of the offerings, some of the degrees, we're just a few days removed from the most recent graduation period. What comes to mind when you think of McAllen, Texas A&M, some of the sciences that they're learning, and of course the campus is also expanding. We'll be expanding quite a bit over the next couple of years to kind of review some of that.
Yeah, the first expansion is the nursing building that is going to be built, and that's going to be nursing, but it's also going to be the vet school. The vet school is going to take about 5,000 square feet of that building, and they are there to do a bunch of research, whether it concerns, the flies coming up from screwworm flies coming up from Mexico or whatever, zoonotic research and all this kind of stuff. The vet school is going to have a presence. And one of the things that I am confident is going to happen is we'll start moving agencies in there. For instance, one of the agencies that's a perfect fit in my mind is the AgriLife Research, and allow those researchers that might be in Westaco and different places scattered around the valley to be in one place near the professors that are going to be teaching some of these courses, and letting the students have the ability to be near them. So the new building on the west side of McAllen Higher Education Center is about a 61,000 square foot building for nursing classrooms and study areas, about a 10,000 square foot clinical stimulation center, and then the space for the veterinary clinic and research laboratory. So it'll start with traditional Bachelor of Science in Nursing degrees, which is a 2-year, 5-semester program. Expects to eventually enroll about 50 students per semester, helping the valley to meet that shortage. The first cohort is going to be 24 students, I think, and the Nursing Education Research Building is supposed to be open by the spring of 2026. So it'll be the same high quality programs that exist in College Station. It's simply going to be in McAllen. And as I said, as I also pointed out, the vet school is going to use 5,000 square feet of that One Health program as well.
The most recent graduation, how many students do you know at the McAllen?
Yeah, the graduation number, there were 27 degrees awarded in 23 and 24, with a graduation rate of about 56%, which is about the same as our regional universities. 6-year graduation rate is typical measures based on first time, full time. Total enrollment is 430 students right now. The majors are ag economics, biomedical sciences, construction sciences, education, maritime business administration, multidisciplinary engineering technology, nursing, public health, human resource development. And then there's a non-degree certification program called the Agri Pharmacy Technician program that's there. So the system overall awards about 38,400 degrees, with a graduation rate of a little over 60%.
How many students do you think we'll have, like, let's say 5, 10, 20 years down the road at the McAllen site?
Well, it depends on how many buildings we can get built. The new administration can get built. I mean, this is one of those deals where if you build it, they will come. And that's what we said at the beginning. And we build a building and it's full within 6 months.
Excellent.
So what this university, what this center has that most of the regional universities in the A&M system don't have is this center has access to the Permanent University Fund. And so they have the ability, they don't have to necessarily get everything from the legislature to build a building like the nursing building did that's going up right now. This can be actions by the chancellor and the board of regents.
Excellent. Great to hear. I'm pretty much out of time, but I do want to love on our Brownsville family. A quick update, status report on the big training center there at the Port of Brownsville. That's going to help out with the expanding economy down here.
Yeah, we started off in the Port of Brownsville with some certificated degrees. There are about 10,000 of those certificated degrees, and what we found was that there's a huge demand for workforce development training. And so what that center is and what that building is that we're building there is a very flexible operation. You get for whatever industry that chooses to come in, whether it's LNG, no matter what it is, we can put the kind of instructors in that building to match whatever it is that industry needs to be trained. We don't simply say, okay, we're going to train plumbers. And if you don't want plumbers, tough luck. That's not the way we operate that. The way we operate that center is whatever the industry wants, we'll find the professors and the instructors that'll go down there and train them to your specifications. We'll do what business wants, and that's going to help the port and help the Rio Grande Valley, particularly Cameron County, really grow, I think.
The economic transformation that we've seen down here over the past 30 years, Texas A&M a big part of it as well. Chancellor John Sharp, dear friend, thank you for loving the Rio Grande Valley in deeds and not just promises over these many years. And thank you for setting up our A&M campus down here. We wish you the best. Please stay in touch, brother.
Well, thank you, Sergio. It's Rio Grande Valley has always been a special place in my heart, and Manny Vela has done a wonderful job there. Alonzo Cantu has always been one of my heroes down there, and Chuy Hinojo. So you just have a wonderful group of community leaders down there that make it easy to work with.
Thank you, Chancellor. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye, Sergio.
Take care.
29 minutes after the hour, you're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. News, a service of Jay Gonzalez. Injury attorneys ready to fight for you. Call 1-800-CAR-CRASH. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is opening a facility in Hidalgo County to help prevent the spread of a potentially deadly pest. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins was in Edinburgh yesterday to announce a plan to open a new world screwworm fly dispersal facility at Moore Air Base. The fly hasn't been found in the U.S. for several decades, but an outbreak recently occurred in Mexico. Imports of Mexican cattle, horses, and bison were halted last month because of the outbreak. The Hidalgo County facility will produce and release sterile screwworm flies to keep the insect from breeding and spreading further north. Texas Instruments says it'll spend more than $60 billion to grow its chip-making operations in the U.S. The company said Wednesday it'll build or expand 7 semiconductor plants in Texas and in Utah. It also said it would create 60,000 jobs. They make analog chips used in cars, phones, and medical devices, supplying major brands like Apple, Ford, and SpaceX. The move comes as President Trump pressures tech giants to build their products in the U.S. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. This is the Valley's Morning News for Thursday, and we got a check of sports coming up next.
Spotlight on Your Health, brought to you by DHR Health.
Co-medical director for DHR Health Rehab Hospital, double board certified in physical medicine and rehabilitation. Dr. Francisco Cesati.
Physiatry is the specialty in medicine that focuses more so on function of a patient. Most specialties will focus on fixing a specific organ. In physiatry, you're looking at the whole body, you're looking at the whole person. For example, a stroke. You're going to have certain chronic conditions or sequelae that you're going to have to deal with in the long term. And that's where physiatry comes in. So physiatry will look at how to manage bowel or bladder complications after a stroke or a spinal cord injury, a traumatic brain injury, and deal with the deficits in ambulation or when you're moving around your upper extremities. How can we maximize your function at this point? It's all about how can we get you back to where you were before, or how can we create a new way of doing things for you so that you can remain independent. Acute Rehab Hospital in itself is a kind of a unique experience. You're looking both at the medical aspect of a patient and how they're recovering from that, as well as the functional aspect. So that means the rehab. There's technology available that's only available in an acute rehab hospital. And one of the reasons I joined DHR was because they're in the forefront of some of this technology that we use in the inpatient gyms. The most advanced technologies such as Serial G track, where you are able to start walking, essentially put the weight off of you, but you can still walk. The bottom line is, how can we stimulate your brain to try to bring back that function?
From the Rehab Hospital at DHR Health, Dr. Francisco Cesati, DHR Health.
This has been Spotlight on Your Health, brought to you by DHR Health. For you, for life. Later tonight, tune in for Houston Astros baseball as they visit the Oakland A's. First pitch at 9:05. Powered by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women, Mission Economic Development Corporation, and News Talk 710 KURV.
The 710 KURV Sports Desk is brought to you by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women.
I'm Kevin Walker with your TSN Sports Minute. The Houston Astros wreaked havoc in Sacramento last night after they defeated the Athletics 11-4. For the Astros, it makes for their second straight win and their second in a row with 10-plus runs, even recording 20 hits in last night's contest. The Astros have won 7 of the last 10 and are 5.5 games ahead of the next best team in the AL West. All in all, 5 guys in the lineup finished the night with 3 hits and a night that included 3 home runs. Up next, the Stros will stay in Sacktown to face the Athletics for the finale of the 4-game set. The Texas Rangers dropped the series to the Kansas City Royals after losing Game 2 of the series 6-3 despite a double-digit hitting night. For Texas, they moved 2 games under the 500 mark and will now have to fight to salvage the series later today at home. Patrick Corbin suffered the loss, giving up 4 runs on 6 base knocks with 4 Ks. The finale against the Royals will take place later today with a bullpen game on the schedule. First pitch is set for 1:35. With your TSN Sports Minute, I'm Kevin Walker.
Let's start in the NBA. Lakers being sold to Dodgers owner Mark Walter for roughly $10 billion. That's the largest ever for a U.S. professional sports franchise. NBA Finals, where the Pacers look to force a Game 7 when they take on the Thunder tonight in Indy. Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton dealing with a calf injury will be a game-time decision. Thunder looking to win their first title in franchise history. After 30 straight scoreless innings, Yankees got off the schneid, scored a couple of runs, but lost to the Angels to extend their losing skid to 6 games. That's sports. I'm Ronza Moss.
Your 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast is going to be humid with sunshine, a few clouds, some thunderstorms in the afternoon, and even a shower continuing tonight. We'll see a high of 92, low down to 77, and then tomorrow's under rain and thunderstorms with a high of 89. Saturday's partly sunny, breezy, 91. Partly sunny on Sunday with a couple thunderstorms in the afternoon, hitting a high of 93. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Thank you very much, Jeff. We have temperatures around 80 across deep South Texas right now. AccuWeather this hour. Much love to our weather supporters, Martin Farm and Ranch in Edinburgh and Rivera's Machinery on the Expressway in Donna. Take a check of your border bridge wait times on News Talk 710 KURV. And right now, the longest wait, which isn't much of a wait, is 25 minutes at Los Indios in Brownsville. Everything else reporting in about 15 minutes or less. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. This is the Valley's Morning News for Thursday. And we have a check of your money coming up.
Stay ahead of the game with News Talk 710 KURV. Follow us on LinkedIn. Exclusive news updates and in-depth audio and video interviews on topics that matter to you, your business, your industry. Follow us on LinkedIn and join a growing community of smart, savvy listeners like you. Network, connect, and never miss a beat from the Rio Grande Valley's trusted news source. Stay informed, stay connected, and stay ahead. It's time to take the conversation further. Follow News Talk 710 KURV on LinkedIn today.
At Rivetta's Machinery in Donna, they're bringing the best deals on Coyote equipment to your job site, your farm, or your backyard. Right now, take advantage of 0% interest or up to $6,000 cash back on Coyote track loaders and skid steers. These are machines built for maximum performance no matter the task. But don't stop there. They're also offering fantastic savings on Coyote tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles. And whether you're hauling something, mowing, tackling other big jobs, Coyote has the equipment to help you get it done. If you're looking for great deals and great service from a team that treats you like family, look no further than Rivetta's Machinery and Coyote. Start your next project right. Visit Rivetta's Machinery in Donna or browse their deals when it suits you at mynewtractor.com. That's their website, mynewtractor.com. Rivetta's for the long haul. See dealer for full details.
Improve your overall health and enjoy a better quality of life with Dr. T's Primary Care. If you're trying to set some new weight goals, if you're too moody or stressed out or just tired and trying to get more sleep, Dr. T's Primary Care can help you with all of that. And more if you're worried about things like low testosterone. Dr. T is a primary care provider from the sniffles to the flu and also offer menopause treatment, peptide treatment, and IV vitamin infusions. McAllen area call 956-803-0058 and in Harlingen 956-368-5247. That's drt'sprimarycare.com.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC. McAllen Mission.
I'm Chad Robinson with Your Money Now. At Home, the popular home goods retailer with 260 stores across 40 U.S. states, is filed for bankruptcy. The Dallas-based company announcing it had entered an agreement with its lenders that will eliminate substantially all of its roughly $2 billion in debt and provide $200 million in fresh funding to keep At Home operating while it navigates the Chapter 11 process. Leonard Lauder, the eldest son of cosmetics pioneers Estee and Joseph Lauder, died Saturday. He was 92. Born to a Jewish family in New York City, Leonard Lauder, as a boy, would join his mother on sales calls in salons and helped her pack boxes of powder and cleansing oils. He would later attend and graduate from Columbia University's School of Business after serving as a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy. The markets are closed today for the holiday and will reopen tomorrow. That's Your Money Now.
Markets are closed today in observance of the Juneteenth federal holiday, in case you were wondering. The Federal Reserve leaving interest rates unchanged. Yesterday's decision marks the fourth straight time the central banks have kept rates steady. Rates will remain high and hover between 4.25% and 4.5%. And Wendy's restaurants across the country launching a new collaboration. The company is planning to introduce their new, you gotta be kidding, Takis Fuego meal on Friday. The combo includes a spicy chicken filet sandwich topped with crushed Takis chips, chili lime sauce, creamy corn spread, and cheddar cheese sauce. The sandwich will be served with a side of Fuego fries tossed in chili lime seasoning and a bag of Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. That's going to be a banger in some parts of our community here. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. AccuWeather this hour made possible by Martin Farm and Ranch and Rivera's Machinery on the Expressway in Donna.
Your 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast is going to be humid with sunshine, a few clouds, some thunderstorms in the afternoon, and even a shower continuing tonight. We'll see a high of 92, low down to 77, and then tomorrow's under rain and thunderstorms with a high of 89. Saturday's partly sunny, breezy, 91. Partly sunny on Sunday with a couple thunderstorms in the afternoon, hitting a high of 93. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nordine. We've got temperatures around 80 across the valley right now. Thank you so much for being an informed listener by listening to News Talk 710 KURV. This is the Valley's Morning News for Thursday. We got headlines from Fox News coming up.
Pain management specialist Dr. Dennis Slavin on joint pain.
Our website is feelingbetteratLast.com because that's what people say as they leave my office. They really are feeling better at last. Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Slavin with some sound advice on achy joints. You need to get your walk in or hit the golf course, or with every step you take it hurts. Oftentimes I hear from patients, my knees hurt and I can't do what I want. I don't want surgery and I don't get adequate pain relief with pain medication. They feel stuck with their knee pain. There is another option besides surgery or pain meds. Sodium hyaluronate treatments. The way it describes this treatment to patients is like it's WD-40 for the knee. The sodium hyaluronate is a natural lubricant that also stimulates your knee joint to produce its own lubricant, and when precisely injected with ultrasound guidance, provides superb pain relief.
With offices in McAllen and Weslaco, Dr. Dennis Slavin is only a phone call away, and many say it's the best call they've ever made. Call 956-973-0565. 973-0565.
Hi there, my name is Tony Bolstead. My wife and I, Carol, own Sand Monsters, and we'd like you to come on out and have fun. We've got a half-mile long track out here. It runs across about 3.5 acres. Have adult cars and kid cars, getting laps in, learning how to drive on the sand. And we also lease space to Redline Helicopters is one of our tenants here, and they've got a pad and they do helicopter tours. Lone Star National Bank and the team there really helped us get this thing put together, answered all our questions, huge help.
I am Stephanie Harrison. I am the second generation owner of Sisters Interiors on South Padre Island. We had always dreamed of owning our own land and owning our own building, using our design team to create what you see here today. That's how we got involved with Lone Star National Bank. We partnered with them and they helped us, create the dream.
News Talk 710 KURV. News and weather information at your fingertips.
There was only one place to get the information I needed.
Log on to KURV.com.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Big Thursday. K-Ondas, KURV Faithful. I'm Zach Cantu. This is the Valley's Morning News along with show producer Fred Cruz. And right now we got temperatures around 80. News on 710 KURV is a service of Jay Gonzalez, injury attorneys ready to fight for you. Call 1-800-CAR-CRASH.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. At least 240 Israelis are reported hurt in Iranian missile strikes, one hitting a hospital. The Wall Street Journal reports President Trump has approved attack plans for Iran. Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House.
He said that he has not made a decision and that he likes to make the decisions at the last possible second. When we checked in on that Wall Street Journal story, which is well-sourced, I was told by a White House official that all options remain on the table.
Israeli airstrikes hit a nuclear power plant in Iran today. It's June 19th. Most federal offices, banks, and U.S. stock markets are closed.
Juneteenth honors the date when Major General Gordon Granger traveled to Galveston Bay, Texas in 1865 to share the news that more than 250,000 Black people in the state were free. 2.5 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863.
It's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
16 at the top of the hour on News Talk 710 KURV. It was a SpaceX rocket that exploded during a static fire test at Starbase last night. This happened about 11:02 p.m. Video posted on social media shows a massive fireball erupting at the test site at Boca Chica Beach. An investigation into the cause of the explosion is underway. Police in Mission have arrested 3 suspects as part of the investigation into vandalism at Lions Park. Police reportedly arrested 17-year-old Sebastian Marroquin and 2 13-year-olds on a charge of criminal mischief. The city released pictures of a damaged restroom at the park on social media earlier this week. Marroquin's bond was set at $5,000. The Department of Homeland Security told staff this week it will reverse. Sorry, this copy was a little messed up here. So last week, agents were told to conduct immigration raids at farms, hotels, and restaurants.
The Washington Post said the immigration pullback is directly at odds with President Donald Trump's calls for mass deportations of anyone in the U.S. illegally. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials told agency staff on a call that they must continue conducting immigration raids on farms and other agriculture businesses, along with hotels and restaurants. 2 people familiar with the agency call said new instructions were given to staff from as many as 30 field offices across the country. The Los Angeles Times said as the vital harvest season gets going in California's vast agricultural regions, farmers and their workers are getting whiplash from the series of contradictory signals about how the administration's crackdown on illegal immigration may or may not affect them.
It also appears that last year's gun ban at the State Fair of Texas will remain in place. This is TSN's Chris Fox with more from Austin.
Last year, Attorney General Ken Paxton's emergency motion to overturn the State Fair gun ban was blocked by the Texas Supreme Court. And this year, it was the State House that stopped it. Senate Bill 1065 would have made the gun ban illegal. It was authored by State Senator Bob Hall.
These restrictions undermine the intent of Texas law's Second Amendment rights and creates unnecessary burdens for responsible licensed licensed gun owners from their right to self-defense.
Senate Republicans passed the bill, but it never came up for a vote in the House. Therefore, the gun ban remains. In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
There's a new poll suggesting that Americans aren't too excited about the possibility of the U.S. getting involved in the conflict between Israel and Iran. The Washington Post surveyed about 1,000 adults this week and found only 25% support the U.S. military launching airstrikes against Iran over its nuclear program. 45% oppose U.S. involvement. 30% admitted they have no idea what's going on. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. This is the Valley's Morning. That's what it says. It says, look, nearly 1/3 of those polled knew little or nothing about anything about Israel launching airstrikes against Iran or anything like that. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV, Valley's Morning News for Thursday. And back with more after this.
It's hurricane season. The time to prepare is now. Stay ahead of the storm with Tropical Coverage 2025 on News Talk 710 KURV, your trusted source for real-time updates. With resources from AccuWeather and the National Weather Service, we'll bring you the information you need to be ready and be prepared. Tropical Coverage 2025 is powered by Mike's Plumbing, Electrical, and AC, McAfee Agency, Insurance, Lee's Pharmacy, and News Talk 710 KURV.
Is your commercial building ready for tropical season? Man, all it's going to take is one gully washer to shut you down for Lord knows how many weeks, potentially. Got to fix that leaky roof or maybe that weak roof. And see, that the latter is the worst one. I'm happy to present to you good folks at Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing and my friend Dale Johnson, who I've talked about for years. Dale Johnson, top commercial roofer in the region, and he's bringing to us Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. You make sure that commercial roofing system of yours is waterproof. And as I told you, knowing that you have a leak, that's a problem. Not knowing that you have a weak commercial roof that is about to expose you to all that water coming into the building, shutting down production, ruining equipment, expensive equipment, and embarrassing you in front of your client. Called Chamberlain Roofing, Waterproofing, 125 plus years of experience, expanded services that we haven't seen before, valued warranties, cutting edge roof installation and repair technology for your businesses, all those buildings, even your home if you got one of those flat, low pitch roofs. And of course, the advanced waterproofing solutions I know that you need at your commercial sites, especially if you're building, you got something on paper you're about to build here. You need Chamberlain Roofing, Waterproofing. Call my...
Summer is heating up, and so is our local economy. From sizzling business deals to community connections, News Talk 710 KURV and the Radio Potami app are here to keep you in the know. Download the Radio Potami app to stay informed and entertained. Whether it's local market updates, summer events, or the weather, we've got you covered. Support local, stay connected, and tune in to the pulse of Rio Grande Valley business. News Talk 710 KURV and the Radio Potami app, where local